Hi everybody, it's Diane. I'm working on a project today. I don't really feel like I'm working on it full tilt yet, but I've been just puttering around with it, let's say, because I'm working on other things. If you saw my channel yesterday, you'll see that I got a lot of things listed in my shop yesterday, so be sure you go over and see what's there. But I have my grandson here, and he is doing his charter school work down in the dining room. So I come up here to fuss around a bit. So I pulled out 5 of my textbooks that I got at the flea market this year, and I was so excited about them, and I'm pretty excited to finally get a chance to work on them. So I'm going to be doing journals with these 2 books. I love the covers on these. And I also pulled out Writing with a Purpose, because I thought that was a fun cover. Principles of Arithmetic and Geometry. So they're all different sizes except for those first 2. And then this one, Science for Tomorrow's World. These books came from a teacher, so they're all teacher's edition books. So those are what I'm working on, and I started getting papers cut for these 2 smaller books. So I just have, a variety of scrapbook paper, some typing paper, just all different kinds of paper, book pages. So I'm working on that, but today I started just working on some ephemera. I'm going to use some of those pocket tags that I created on the Stashistry episode that I did, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a Stashistry because I did already do some of these. These are flashcards, vintage flashcards and vintage postage stamps that I just glued together to make cards that can either be pockets. These will probably be tuck spots. These can be journaling cards or whatever you want them to be. So that's pretty simple. And I was just doing that, didn't think I needed to turn the camera on to glue stamps onto these. And then I had this stamp envelope that had a label on the front. You can still see the label on that side. But I wanted to cover that up, so I just glued a couple of printable labels on top of that. I just cut these out from my stencil book. These are printed on a nice manila cardstock, and some of them are divided like that. So I cut along the lines and just made them into, and then trimmed them down. So this would make a nice tuck spot. This I turned into a tag. That one's pretty big, so I don't know what that'll be. I'll have to trim it down some more probably. So I just wanted to show you that I played around with that. I told you I'm just puttering from one thing to another. But then I started just doing some playing cards. And thought, well, okay, I'll just turn the camera on so you can see all the stuff that I'm using. Because this is a Stashistry. I'm using flashcards and stamps. And now I'm using playing cards and journaling cards. So what I'm doing is I pulled down my little tote here of various journaling cards. And, I just found this over here. I didn't know it was here. This was from my Stashistry with the tags, the pocket tags, and I didn't show you this one because I never finished it. But it has this piece of embossed cardstock, and when it embossed, must be the sandwich was too thick because it made a lot of cuts. So this part it pulled right off, and then there's some little cuts in it, so I glued it to this paper. So anyway, that's a cute little tape. So back to this. So I thought I would just sew some tabs onto some playing cards, but then to make them usable, I'm going through my box of journaling cards to find cards that are small enough that I can sew to the backs of these. I've got these, but oh, that one might work. I don't want to glue these or sew these to the back because it's not gonna, you can't write on these. So I'm gonna set those aside. So I did, these are things that I stamped, and I've just left them in my journaling card box. So it says, you say the craziest things, and then you're supposed to write what the person said and then the date, although I zigzag stitched over the date line. This one I just sewed the tab on, but I didn't sew anything to it. So these are supposed to be things that you can write down, the funny things your kids say. Because this one says, out of the mouth of babes. You can use these for any kind of journaling. I'm going to switch it to straight stitch. Okay, let's do one of these old carriage cards with a different kind of journaling card. This is really heavy chipboard. Might have to trim just a little off that. Let's put it on a floral card since this is a pretty shabby chic looking piece. Just fits on there now. A little piece of eyelet fabric with some yellow rosebuds on it. And a little piece of vintage lace. I have trouble keeping, if I fold it over and then try to sew, this moves around, especially on these slippery cards. So I'm going to sew this part first. I like that one. Most of the journaling cards are bigger than a playing card, but I could cut some down. I think I put some little ones in here. Oops. We got to reorganize in here. These are some I printed a long time ago when I first got into making smash books. So I can use those. That's a stamped one. Okay, we got enough to work with. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, that's one I already decorated. That can go in a different container. Okay, let's take one of these tags and just put it on a carriage card. There's nothing complicated about this Stashistry for sure. Most of my ephemera is not complicated. I just want to use stuff up. This yellow polka dot would be fun. My grandson has an hour and a half break for lunch. So I'll have to make sure I'm available to go down and make him some lunch. This one says hooray. I'm going to trim a little off the bottom of that. I'm going to get another one ready so I can just go from one to the next. Oops, don't want to cover her up. Okay, I have 3 ready. This one has a little purple flower on it, so I'm going to put this purple polka dot on it. I'm going to staple it this time, if I can. Sometimes it's hard to get the stapler on there this way instead of that way. It's not bad. This is just a piece of gathered fabric that was left over from something. I'm just going to make it a little narrower. And I'm going to stitch it to the side. One more. Just a little bit of fabric and a little bit of lace. Okay, I don't think you need to watch me doing that anymore, but I'll show you what I've gotten done. This is a really old card. I think that's going to be it for today. This is a really short video again. I know I've been doing a lot of short videos. Well, I don't know. Let me do something with these. I told you I was going to have a busy week. Last night I was at my son's house with my granddaughter for until I didn't get home till about 9:30. And then I had to be at my daughter's house at 6 a.m. today. Got Teddy off on the bus. But then I have Adam with me all day while he's doing his charter school. And I'm going to do that tomorrow too. Just decorated that up a little bit. Looking for something to put at the top. How about a bit of vintage tatting? It's a pretty tag. Lots of room to write on it. This will be a tuck spot. Just dress it up a little bit. Okay, so I've gotten some embellishments started for these 5 journals I'm going to be working on. I don't know how long I'm going to take on these journals. I'm trying to catch up on things around the house, and I've got a lot of things that I need to catch up on that I've let go. So I think I will be crafting less for a little while anyway. But I thank you for coming and hanging out with me today while I did this short little Stashistry video. I'm going to sew this to a card. Yeah, so thank you, and I will be seeing you again very soon. Bye-bye.